this is Perry Mink. It is Wednesday, September 2nd, 2020 at about 2:26 in the afternoon. And Winnie and I are staying at this location today, and I decided to do some research because I posted, more cases on Facebook. And these cases represent what the people in the government have been doing to me, along with their recruits. And then you notice that other people have been targeted as well. And the focus for today's subject is, who are they targeting? Who are these terrorists targeting? Who are these supremacist terrorists targeting? And they're targeting female heterosexuals who are the domestic type. But they're also targeting white males who are domestic types. And what do I mean by domestic types? These are people who are family oriented, they help other people, they create an environment that's civil, that's peaceful, that allows somebody else to thrive. And so those are the targets. And you could be Catholic, but they are targeting Protestants. And I was targeted for many different reasons because I'm high on the hit list, and that's why I keep civilly seeking justice. So first, I'm going to talk about another case that I posted recently on Facebook, and the case is in Southern California, and it was about two white women who were they were actually hunting white vulnerable men. And so I posted on Facebook about these two women who were discovered that they were operating a fraud scheme through their insurance, and they had murdered two men at that point. And those women were Olga Rutterschmidt and Helen Golay. And this is on Wikipedia, and it's called Black Widow Murders. The two men that they targeted, and these were women they were senior women. And let's see if I could, what surprised me again is one of the women reminded me of Judge Barbara Zuniga. And so, because I don't have a way I don't know how to put up a screen or edit the video and that sort of thing. So I'm going to turn this webcam around, and then you'll see who I'm talking about. Alright, so here we go. So that's one of the women that was operating the scam and helped murder these homeless men, claiming that they were helping them, that they were providing for them. And they would scope them out, they would hunt them out at the locations where you would find homeless men, but their premeditated intent was to pretend that they were providing for them, even providing them a place to live. They would buy an apartment, some type of apartment type dwelling, And then the goal was to then, in the future at some point, kill that man off and then collect on a claim. So what they did was they killed them off by running them down, running them over with a vehicle. Now, why is this case a analytical case comparison, and why am I presenting this case again? So this video, if you could say, is for the decent, highly intelligent investigators, the enforcers from the Puggy Allies. Those who are watching my Facebook, you know who I'm speaking to, because my 4-page plea to Judge Barbara Zuniga that was referencing my civil case both in the local court and at the Court of Appeal, and the statement was a hypothetical case, and it was about how Encina was basically running us down, Elvira and me, innocent, bystander type, as best as we can, law-abiding citizens. I say best as we can because you don't know all the laws that are out there. And so if you say, I totally follow all the laws, that would be a false statement because there's just too many laws for you to know. So that's when I found this case a few weeks ago, I was surprised and how this reflected these women at the courthouse, that this Olga Rutterschmidt and Helen Golay are very similar to Barbara Zuniga, Judith Sanders, Marion O'Malley, and the other women that perpetrated this on me to destroy me. They were also the same type of homicidal people at Encina Veterinary Clinic. So Helen Golay, the photo that I just showed you, is an American, and she was from Texas. Olga immigrated here from Hungary. So one of the victims was a Hungarian man, and the other man was, his name was Paul Vados, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, and he was in his 70s, and the other victim, a homeless man, was Kenneth McDavid, and he was 50 years old. So these women would, like wait, just waiting for the time that they were going to kill these people off. And that's what they're doing to me. That's what they're doing to me. So this case is for the enforcers who are creating justice for me, for Elvira, for Winnie, for my family, protecting my blood relatives who I haven't seen for some 20 years, because they're using some very wicked, vile, sinister, insidious tactics to exterminate, to eliminate people who speak up for our rights, and that they are targeting the people in the community who would protect somebody else, and that includes moms with children. It includes fathers of a family unit where you protect your wife, and the wife protects the husband, and they as a unit protect their children. So this also happens, this targeting by this extreme, how shall I say, extreme violent sex cult that stems from the Catholic Church and is really reflective of communism, Nazism. They are also targeting Catholics, and when you read my part article, the part 7, Way Beyond Broken, again you'll see that they are targeting Catholics. And if you live here in this community, you would know that Catholics were speaking out against what the Catholic Church was doing here, and they Christ the King wanted to start clown ministries, and this is wicked stuff. And Pope Francis is still doing it. Still doing it. He did this clown ministries in December during the last December 2019, and people spoke out. It was in the newspaper, and so they didn't hold this clown ministries at Christ the King. They could have done it in their basement or at some other location in somebody's home, because they're an extreme violent sex cult. So also at the other Catholic churches, they were putting, traditional Catholics were putting how shall I say, some kind of magnetic image on their vehicles to bring Christ back into Christmas. And so people who live out here know what I'm referring to. So if you were watching my recent Facebook post, I posted yesterday about the Wygle family, who started Bill's Ace Hardware here in central Contra Costa County years ago. And I tried to print, as I was researching too, I don't know if this terrorist group that's from the government was trying to stop me from finding information, because I noticed when I started to look up the Wygle family's different names, the children, the father, the original father and mother, the great-grandparents, all of a sudden something happened with the search. So I found an article from Bill's Ace Hardware, and it was about just a 2-page article, and when I went to print, my printer all of a sudden broke, and so now my printer doesn't work anymore. There was nothing wrong with my color cartridge, and now it just keeps saying that there's something wrong with it. So I printed it up and I did some research, and there is such little information on this family, and I thought, what is going on? Why are they being suppressed? So today I decided to do some more research, and the most bizarre information, and I want to ask again, please, U.S. Homeland Security, please protect this family. They are really trying to eliminate them, exterminate them. That's what's happening, and they're doing it through different methods that they've been doing to me. So what I did was I found out that, and I did a couple of hours of research this morning, and as I said, I'm not able to print from my printer, and I was able to access an article about one of the sons of William Wygal, who is the great-grandfather who started the business, originally started a hardware store back in the 40s. So I'm going to turn my webcam around again, and then you'll see what I'm referring to. Alright, so let's go ahead. So this is a resource through the public library, and this is called Charles Wygal Was a Friend for the In Need. So when I open this up, it's dated June 28, 1997. Now you notice how he was a friend for the in need. That right there tells you that he was high on the hit list. Okay, so I kept reading it because I couldn't find any average news article on this family that has been so supportive and helping this community. That was my printer is operating right now. Something is going on up there. So I started reading this article, and when you get down to here, it just says short illness. Okay, so I thought, okay, they're not going to tell what happened, and then I kept reading, and then you get down to here, and it says, a month ago, doctors diagnosed the cancer. Okay, well, I don't know what kind of cancer he had. I did a little bit more research, and I still couldn't find anything. So then I go down even further, and it says here that, let's see, where is it? Okay, so if you look in here, it says visitation, and then it says funeral is planned for Monday at Christ the King Catholic Church, and that he will be buried at Queen of Heaven Cemetery, which is where a lot of Catholics have their, that's where they're buried. All right, so this particular son is Catholic. I don't have enough information, so I don't know if he's Catholic because of his wife. I have no idea. But what surprised me is that he does fit in the high on the hit list. All right, so I did some more research, and they had three sons. Okay, so the original great grandparents, the mother and father who started the hardware store here, is William Wygal and his wife Elva, and they had three sons: David, Dennis, and Charles, and they are all deceased. And I looked at their birth dates. They were all deceased at fairly early ages, age 67, age 60, and 53. Then I looked up on David Wygal, who's the first son, and he died in 2000 in Lake Tahoe, and I couldn't find a news article. Why did that happen? So then I looked up, because I do some little bit of genealogy research, and I was shocked again because on Family Search, as you know, is a genealogy website that is, how shall I say, monitored, or it was started by the Mormon Church, and I don't know how many volunteers update the information, or who is putting the information on there. I know I've done some information for my family tree, and I was shocked because the information that I found on David Wygal is just, he passed away and his family survived. That was again from the same source as I showed you about Charles Wygal, who died of cancer. So I'm going to turn this webcam around again, and this is just shocking. And this is just, I can't understand this. So if you look here, so David Wygal, all his relatives, his wife and his children are all listed as deceased. This is I mean, this is illegal. I'm just, I'm just so disturbed to see that a website like this would participate or allow somebody to do this. Why? I mean, is this some kind of, online attack, terrorist attack on his family, and they just want, this is their like premeditation, wipe the whole family out or something? I mean, this is sick stuff. you know, I can't understand why they would allow something like this to go on. I really can't understand it. They did that with my dad and made it look like he was dead, and so I thought he was dead. And they even sent, the VA even sent me, a, I guess he had a, you know, a veteran's beneficiary, and I was listed, and so I accepted it because I thought they were telling me the truth, and I went on to Family Search, and so I posted it, and then somebody removed it, some woman on there removed it, and I was shocked, and then I thought, is that directed at me? What is going on? I tried to check more information. I sent the money back. I have no idea if he's alive or dead. That's my dad, and he would be in his 90s. So this is why I wanted to talk about this, because this is coming from people within the government. They are a terrorist, they are extreme terrorist regime, but it stems from the Catholic Church, and I proved it. So the article that I found on David, and I tried to print it, and I couldn't print it. So what I did was let's see if I can pull it up right now. Okay, hold on. Okay, so okay, that's not it. Let's see if I could find the one on the, not able to find it. Where did it? No, let's see if I could look it up right now. It was a very brief article on the son that passed away in Lake Tahoe, and it should be right here. So here it is right here, and I'll go ahead and pull this up. And this was just listed as local death because it's in the newspaper. It comes from the Contra Costa Times, and so it's a very small statement here. So I'm going to turn the webcam around again, and this is on the oldest son, David Wygal, and so it says that he retired from Ace Hardware in 1997, and then he died in Lake Tahoe in December of 2000, and he was 67 years old. And you could see how it says he's survived by all his wife, his children, and so forth. But on the Family Search, it says that they're all deceased. And when I opened up each one, it says that they're deceased on the same day. And that was disturbing. And I don't understand how that would even be legal to have that kind of information on a resource like that, because you could see, I'll turn it around again, so you could see that Family Search it's under the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints here at the bottom, and then here it's all listed. So it says deceased on each one. So let's take the child. So if you look at Eileen, oh, darn it, I have to sign back in again. So, alright, well, you saw what I was showing you. Anybody can, if you're signed up already with Family Search, you can look at that. So that's what I wanted to talk about today, because there's a extreme sect from the Catholic Church. It's under the Vatican II, and they are using terrorist tactics to eliminate us, but you don't know it. And you're going to be, so the son, Charles, who died from cancer, and it was that sudden, well, they probably gave him something. and then he just died because you could tell he was so helpful. So he was very high on the list. That was 1997. So they were, at that point, I was here for 2 years, and they were probably killing off Catholics like you wouldn't believe that were from the traditional Catholic. And when you study about the Catholic Church, they would even use bio-terrorism on the Pope. You know, if they didn't like somebody, they would just kill them off in some other way or form. It's communism. It's a communist regime, is what it really is. So there was one more thing that I wanted to show you that I had been looking up. Let's see. It was at the Contra Costa County Historical Society because I was forced to volunteer there for the program, and the case manager that was assigned to me, Raven, had forced me to volunteer there. I mean, I thought it was okay, and I was cooperative and doing what I was supposed to be doing, and just thankful I had gotten out of being held captive. And so yesterday I also looked at the Contra Costa County Historical website, and I'm going to show you again. So here's the website for the Historical Society where they forced me, and I was looking at the people who they have listed there. You can see the expires date here. Okay, so these people were there when they were trying to set me up. Okay, so you can see Tara Weber is there. Well, after after they had placed me there, Tara showed up later, and she came from the hotel industry. She was a hospitality. That was her profession, in the hospitality, in the hotel industry. So you can see she's vice president now. These people are actually going along with terrorism, and now she's vice president. So John Berg was there, and he's listed as still there. Lisa Gorell is there, and I don't recall her actually participating in the actual terrorism that I can speak of, but it's possible that she may have. I don't know. So Steve James is there. And Steve James also works at the, volunteers for the Historical Society in his area. You can see El Sobrante right there. And he was trying to make it look like I was stealing money, or hinting that the children that came for a field trip, that they were going to steal money from the donation container that was right in front of the desk there where I was placed to volunteer. Okay, so Scott Saffler is still there, and he is a white man, and he worked in banking, and he wasn't, for some reason, he was not working anymore. And it's possible he was from the East Coast, the New England states, and it's possible that he was targeted from working in banking. I don't know. You would have to actually sit down with each person and find out if there was any terrorist tactic that we know of today that could have been perpetrated on them, and then that's why they don't have a job anymore. And then Oliver Bray, you could see he's listed here as a director, and he's the great-grandson of the Bray, who was a judge in this county too, and they named the courthouse after him, the Bray Courthouse. And then Barry Good is also a judge, and he was also involved in the terrorizing for getting rid of me. And then Betty, who, when I was there, is a very senior woman, and I'm wondering if these are still, if this is current. I have no idea. And then you see Executive Director Priscilla Cuden, and when I am going by there on the bus, I do not see her vehicle, and she used to drive a tan-colored Mercedes, and I don't see that vehicle parked in that spot anymore. And she went along with it, going along with Justice James Marciano to terrorize me at that, as I was volunteering at the Contra Costa County Historical Society. Now, why would Priscilla allow a judge who is donating money, and by the way, he lives in Lafayette, California, whereas I lived there for 1 year, and why would they try to make it look like I'm the problem, knowing that the whole time I was there, I was just providing, and I was doing the best that I could, because I don't have any experience working in a setting like this, and these people were doing this on purpose. Now, Priscilla Cuden's daughter is in the entertainment industry. She's a opera singer and lives back east. And so you would think, why would these white women at this historical society go along with these extreme terrorists? Were these women having sex with Marciano? Are they having sex with Barry Good and Oliver Bray? You know, what happened to their moral compass that they would participate in this terrorist regime? I don't know these people on a personal level. I just know what they were saying when I was there at the Historical Society, and they are the ones that participated with these terrorists that come from the legal system. They're, as far as I know, they're walking free. That they're just living their life, and they're getting to go shopping, they have rights, they get medical care, if they need eyeglasses, they can get eyeglasses, they're probably getting pensions, except for Scott Saffler, that seemed really peculiar, that's the word I used to use, that he wouldn't be working and his wife was supporting their unit. So that's what's so disturbing about this. I mean, what would happen if I went down there and said, "Hi everyone, how are you doing?" They're still terrorizing me, you know. Why would Tara Weber be vice president now? Is she having sex with John Greitzer? I don't know who that is. I don't remember that name. Is she having sex with John Berg? Is she having sex with Steve James? Is Priscilla and her husband? Because one day Priscilla had her husband come down there, and I didn't recognize him. Nobody introduced me to him. And he was using the copy machine, and I thought he needed assistance, and I said, "Can I help you with that?" And he goes, "Oh no, I already know what I'm doing," or something. He's the husband of Priscilla. So these people were doing this on purpose. Anyway, all I can do is keep seeking justice, because that's my right. I don't look like this normally. I have a inflammation of my autoimmune system because they keep terrorizing me everywhere I go. I can't even drive my car anymore. They took my new truck away. I paid for that truck. These people are prostituting. These women in the legal system are prostitutes. Now, I did everything that I could when they held me captive to keep active, because before they took me captive, I was studying the history of Christianity on my own. You don't need to go to college to study the history of Christianity. I'm sure that these Catholics would like to burn all books, including any Bibles that we have. That's why they took my Bible. And I was studying the history of Christianity. And you don't need to go to college to study the history of Christianity. But these women at the courthouse are prostituting. And so when I got into when they held me captive, there was a women's library, and I found a book about Tolstoy, Leo Tolstoy. I vaguely remember his name because I knew about Frida Kahlo, the artist from Mexico. And so once you read about an artist and then you start to learn what their life was, her and her husband Diego Rivera uh, took in this political, I don't know what the right word is, I can't remember his name right now, but they took him into their home, and then they figured out where he was, and they went to Mexico, and then they killed him. They assassinated him. I can't remember his name right now. As soon as you mention it, I'll go, yes, that's who it is. I'm trying to think of his name. Anyway, so I was already studying, and I found this book on Leo Tolstoy. It is a very thick book by a French author, and in that book they talked about how Tolstoy believed that the wife is a prostitute. That was his philosophy, I guess, if you will. That was his observation. That was his belief system. And so I guess that was what he, wanted to portray to others, and that was what he wanted people to think of what a wife is. I don't agree with it, but that's what he was speaking to, and he was very prominent. People were just following him in Russia, and that's what he was teaching, that the wife is a prostitute. So that's what happened here, and it comes from this Romanism, which took over the Jesus teachings, and so that's what's worth seeing here. And so we're not getting the protection that we need, because there was a time when the traditional Catholics and Reformed Protestants and Protestants were living that life that we know about from the biblical teachings from the New Testament, that the husband is benevolent and that the wife is benevolent, and that they look to God through Jesus' teachings to be strong for the Christian faith. But these people aren't doing that. So I still don't have my property back, my sanctuary home. I'm waiting patiently. It's over 14 years. All right, well, thank you for listening today. And this is about a 40-minute video again. And we are still working on the homework assignment, and that is to be able to understand how to identify, knowing what you know about Cruel Catholic M.O. And it does take a while to understand it. There are the part articles that I wrote, that part 1 through part 7, and it includes evidence. And by reading those articles and some of my other videos, YouTube videos, you will understand, and my Facebook videos, you will understand how to identify Cruel Catholic M.O. They teach this in the Catholic schools, and their intention is militia. It's a militia, and they are a communist regime. And so whenever they feel that they need to purge and commit genocide, that's when they start changing the order. Then as soon as it gets to the point where you have millions of people dying off and people are screaming and hollering, then they back off, and then you see that fluctuation again. So this is how they operate all throughout, since the time they took over Jesus' teachings, and then they just wipe people out because they don't want them to procreate. And so I represent that, what they don't want at this time. That's been going on for some time now. We are in that realm that's being perpetrated on us from the Catholic Church. And they're doing this to Catholics. They did that to Gerhard Damon, and he's a retired California state investigator, and he's Catholic. And they went after him, and they went after him through his doctor from Orinda, and to finish him off so that he couldn't help me anymore. And that's how they're operating. All right. So thank you very much, and we're signing off for now. It is 3:06 in the afternoon, Wednesday, September 2nd, 2020. All right, thank you again.